Because you've just taken photos of our roof, and we would like to know who you are, who you're working for, and how that video is going to be used.
DJ Audits still isn't registered as a data controller. He is required to register because virtually every video he makes includes personal data, namely the face of people he films, often over their objections. It's been a while now since I first mentioned the requirement to register. I assume the application must be in the post. To be fair, he is busy making videos. This time he harasses a manufacturer.
I've never heard of the name before, but it's a global name in that field. So what sort of product do they make then? HB&K? Well, let's try and find out, shall we?
First, I'd like to establish whether he is allowed to be where he stood. He stood on a road in Royston called Jarman Way. Find My Street tells us that Jarman Way is not maintainable at the public expense. That means Jarman Way is a private road. However, that does not mean he shouldn't be there. A public highway can be privately maintained, and we could also choose to be generous to him and assume that he has an implied permission to be there. In any case, let's start with the question of whether, despite being a private road, Jarman Way is a public highway. In a previous review of a DJ Audits visit to South Yorkshire, I gave a detailed explanation of highway law, and you may wish to watch that. Here I'm going to be briefer and get more to the point, which means I will be leaving out some of the important elements of the background law in this explanation that form the reasoning. Instead, I will probably just go straight to the conclusion. Essentially, a public highway is a road that the general public use. In the case of a privately maintained public highway, the public right-of-way is limited to passing and repassing with natural accompaniments and any associated activities. Natural accompaniments would include prams, pushchairs, walking dogs, things like that. Anything that goes naturally with passing and repassing. Associated activities can include waiting in a vehicle and for pedestrians, and can include stopping to rest. I think we would have to say it can also include stopping to take photographs or to film things. The highway right does not include parking, so it's not quite as extensive in scope as a public right-of-way over a publicly maintained public highway. Is Jarman Way a public highway? Let's begin on Google Maps. Here's a map of Royston showing Jarman Way, which you will see is a cul-de-sac. It is a cul-de-sac on an industrial estate. It is important for me to make clear that this does not preclude Jarman Way from being a public highway. Even a private road that is a cul-de-sac can still be a public highway. Let's now take a look on Google Street View. Here's the entrance that DJ Audits would have seen on his visit. You can see that the road is open. There's no barrier there or other street furniture to restrict access. Looking a bit further down Jarman Way, we can see there are some road markings, so traffic regulation is in place. Just to note that a private road can still have road markings because the local authority have a duty to regulate traffic on private roads as much as on highways. Here's the estate sign showing all the business occupants. I've done some cursory research into these, and none of them are public-facing businesses. It's a mixture of biotech companies, computer services, manufacturers, including a gold bar manufacturer, would you believe? There's a commercial van hire place, and none of these are businesses that an ordinary member of the public would just go and look at in the sense of looking in a shop window. My conclusion is that Jarman Way is not a highway. That means we're saying that DJ Audits does not have the right to be there. That's unfortunate because I would prefer to give DJ Audits the maximum latitude possible, but I just don't see how we can say that Jarman Way is a highway. He therefore has to rely on an implied permission to be there. I am happy to extend to him the maximum latitude possible in that regard, so we'll say that he does have implied permission to enter onto Jarman Way for the purpose of general photography. Don't misunderstand me, I don't believe he really does. I think he's trespassing from the start. But I want to give him the maximum latitude, so let's just be generous to him and we'll say he does have implied permission. What that means is he only becomes a trespasser when the permission is withdrawn. Now we've established the legal position, let's go back to the footage.
Oh, the traffic barrier is just raised for some reason. There isn't a vehicle coming either way.
Well, yes, that's what happens with automatic barriers. They move up when somebody goes near and move back down again. The purpose of it is to signify that it is a private area. Of course, it's already a private road, but the barrier is to signal to people like you that it's authorised people only, including staff and employees, people who have been invited to the building, maybe also people who turn up uninvited but have a purpose for being there. I suppose the latter could potentially include DJ Audits. Again, we're being really generous to him here because I don't really believe this, but if he was visiting by car, you could make the argument that he would be able to go through that barrier in his vehicle. He's not allowed to go through on foot because the public reception is accessible at the front of the building.
We do have a open gate for pedestrians, but there's no magnet on there or anything, so I presume that the access control is on the building itself.
Most of us don't need to have locked gates and high fences everywhere because we've got common sense and at least a rudimentary understanding of what is and is not trespass, and we know that unless we're expected to be somewhere, we shouldn't just walk through because the gate is open. I know that will come as a shock to DJ Audits, who thinks that if a gate is open that means he can walk through or there's something wrong with security, but it actually doesn't necessarily mean either, at least not to normal people who don't have a weird agenda.
I'll do a test on these barriers. I'll get a little bit closer again, see if they open for a pedestrian.
Why? We can see they open. That's what they're supposed to do.
If they do, that's a little bit silly.
How is it silly? They're literally supposed to do that. There's nothing silly about it.
We've got the health and safety sign over there. All visitors must report to reception and call their contact.
That's clear enough to me. I expect that DJ Audits, being the sort of legitimate photographer who has implied permission to be there, is now going to report to reception.
There we go. The reception will be unmanned. Please dispose of all waste in the correct containers. Yeah, very good. 175 days without a lost time injury. And then we have a shipping container there, open. Something that's breakable, it says.
Somebody approaches him now.
And then there's some pallets. A bit of a yard. Sorry? Just anything really.
Sorry?
Just anything really.
Right.
Just HBK. Just filming in general. Why does that keep going up?
For what?
Just for me.
Oh right, so you're not from a company or anything?
No, just making a little video.
For what?
Well, there's a video that's going to be made and I'm just here to get the clips for it.
Oh right, okay.
But you just do vibration and sound measuring, don't
work
you?
for anyone then, no?
Vibration and sound measuring.
Right.
So I asked a couple of questions there. Why do the barriers keep going up? And is it just sound and vibration measuring? He didn't want to answer those basic questions, so we're not going to tell him anything else really.
You are the one filming them, so you have to answer their questions, not the other way round. Of course, conversely, if they are filming him, which I assume they are doing so on CCTV, DJ Audits may be entitled to information about that, though it does depend on whether the footage captured of him can amount to personal data.
It has to be mutual.
It doesn't have to be mutual at all. Your obligations under Article 13 of the UK GDPR are to provide individuals you film with information about yourself, which applies when you record somebody's face at their workplace, as that is personal data as defined in Article 4 of the UK GDPR. It could be that the company has data protection obligations to you now as well, in which case fine, but you haven't asked them about that. You've asked them questions about their business which they don't have to answer. I will say that the man who came out to greet DJ Audits could have given a better impression of the company, but at the same time DJ Audits is on a private road and he's filming for unspecified reasons. Does he honestly expect a welcome reception?
Has to be a two-way conversation type of thing.
No, it doesn't. It can be one way. Legal duties and obligations are duties and obligations. You've captured the man's facial image, which is personal data as defined in Article 4 of the UK GDPR, let me repeat, and you are now processing his personal data, which indeed you have published on your channel without even blurring his face out. He is entitled to information about you and your activities under Article 13 of the UK GDPR, which again we will go into in this video. I'm going to skip ahead because he has a mooch around, meets one of his fans. You can watch the original on his channel if you want to see it.
I reckon it's time just to get David up and let's see what's happening up on this roof.
This is always my favourite bit of his videos.
So let's get David up and see what this place looks like from above.
From above! I still haven't got the hang of it, have I? I'd like to give up the day job, but I just can't do it as well as he can.
Stop it. Get some help.
Thanks, Michael.
So as always, we've checked on drone assist. There are no flight restrictions in this area at all. HBK. I'd rather say HBK than Hottinger, Bruel, Kjaer. You? Well, let's have a look at you.
Let's have a look at you, big boy, with those sexy green tracky bottoms.
So this gentleman is approaching here.
Notice he's being interrupted while flying the drone. The duties here fall entirely on the drone pilot, however. Just as a reminder, it is Article 241 of the Air Navigation Order 2016 that says a person must not recklessly or negligently cause or permit an aircraft to endanger any person or property. It's an offence to contravene this. I think flying a drone while conducting a conversation on the ground, which is what he's about to do, if that conversation is with anyone other than a spotter or maybe at a pinch another drone user, is reckless or negligent. Whether it endangers any person or property is an open question that would have to be considered on the facts. In this case, there are no obvious aerial obstructions and it is a lightweight drone. I wouldn't want it falling on my head, especially not from a great height, but at the same time, as long as the drone isn't following a flight path, it's hard to say that anyone or any property is actually endangered. In any event, it's certainly irresponsible because surely the idea is that the drone pilot should be in control of the drone at all times, and if his attention is divided by something unconnected to flying the drone, I don't see how he can be considered fully in control. Before we get back into the footage, notice as well that he took off again in the middle of the pavement. Here's an image from Google Street View that shows more or less the exact takeoff point shown by the arrow there. They've obviously got some funny ideas in Leicester about how to carry on. I don't use drones, but if I was going to take off with a drone, then I would not be in the middle of a pavement. That's because people walk on the pavement. Anyway, this is a private road he's taking off from. We're stretching generosity now if we say that he has implied permission to be there, but nobody has asked him to leave yet, so let's keep watching.
What are you doing?
Just having a look.
Sorry?
Just having a look. Just being nosy.
But can I ask why though? Because that's private property.
Yeah, you can keep it.
But
I'm just being nosy, mate. I'm just having a look. You've got a scaffold on the roof. I'm just wondering whether there's solar panels up there, that's all.
Yeah, most of Royston's wondering whether there are solar panels on that roof. It's a good job you turned up, DJ Audits. Here's the information he's supposed to provide to data subjects under Article 13 of the UK GDPR. His identity and contact details, confirmation of his purpose, the legitimate interest he relies on since the data subject has not freely given consent, and who will receive the data. So far he hasn't mentioned any of this.
it's a little odd, you know?
A little odd. I like that English understatement. For the benefit of foreign viewers, especially from the United States, if an Englishman tells you that what you're doing is a little odd, what he means is that he thinks you're bat crazy.
Well, look, Oh, why are you backing off? Do you want me to show you?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, so you're currently having a large solar installation, yeah?
Yeah.
Are you not proud of it?
We are, but we've already done with some contractors to get the before shots, and we'll do the after shots when it's finished.
Yeah, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm just here to make a video about what I find interesting.
You from the local area?
No, I'm from Leicester.
Okay.
So I do little videos like this, anything unusual or interesting.
Like like a YouTuber or something like that?
I put it on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. They all pay money for videos like this. Simple as that.
Now we're getting somewhere. That's three of the information requirements under Article 13.1 dealt with. I'm going to skip forward now because they go into a conversation about the roof work and what the company does, and to be fair, if you want to watch that, you should go on DJ Audits channel and see it. I must say that the man from the company here deserves a lot of credit for his friendliness and professionalism and the way he answers DJ Audit's questions, and it is interesting the discussion that they have. It's just a shame that DJ Audits can't go about it a bit differently.
The only unusual thing that happened here was the traffic barriers raised when we got close. And look, they've done it again. So I think that's a little bit of a flaw in security here at HBK.
It's not a flaw in security. The barrier serves no security purpose. The barrier is there simply to ensure that it is implicitly understood that this is company property and only authorised personnel should enter. He is on private land, albeit not on the company's property, which may explain why nobody has actually asked him to leave. Though they may do so, and I think they could demand that he leaves.
You okay?
I'm not going to get into the discussion about why the barrier's open.
That's what I'm here for.
What's your name?
I'm doing an audit.
An audit
By me.
Okay.
I'm here to have a look at the site, what's good and what's bad. And it's a global company, and we don't expect the barriers to be opening like this with just pedestrians.
I still don't see what the problem is with the barrier. Seems to me it's working fine. It's supposed to go up and down. But then again, DJ Audits is the expert, so...
Vehicles, yes. And only vehicles that's supposed to be on site.
So what is
You
your
can't
name,
let-
please?
You're not willing to get into it, are you?
So my name is car behind you.
You see, I like that quality. Blocking the pavement to fly his drone, then obstructing traffic by standing in the middle of a road, a private road if you don't mind, while lecturing this company on a barrier because it works. I think only DJ Audits could pull that off.
Well, I'm head of safety and quality.
You should be concerned about that then.
I think she's more concerned about what you're up to.
So I'm asking you, I've given you my name, I'm asking you for your name, please.
Please bear in mind, I'm not on your site.
Bear in mind though that you are on a private road in any case, and it's not a highway, so even if we assume implied permission to be there, that can be withdrawn at any moment.
I
Okay.
suggest you were.
So,
I'm asking what your name
Hold
is.
on, I'm out on the public footpath,
No, you're not. You're on a private footway.
and I'm not obliged to give you any personal details.
Yes, you are. Under Article 13.1a of the UK GDPR, you're required to give your identity and contact details because you're a data controller and you are capturing this lady's personal data, and you are not exempt.
What I am here to do is to make my video get the evidence of what I can see. I've explained to yourself.
What we have here is a false pretense in which he calls himself an auditor. You'll have noticed he used that exact phrase just now, then says he's here to collect evidence, which implies that he's involved in some sort of investigation of this company. We know what he's up to because we know who he is and what his channel is, but these people don't. Basically, he's lying to them, and it is a significant lie. It's not just a white lie or a minor bit of lying intended to allow him to be left alone to continue a private activity. This is him filming individuals, capturing their data for the purpose of broadcast and from private land, and without any regard for their rights or feelings or compliance with data protection or the laws of trespass. This is not a legitimate activity. He is not a journalist. He is not a photographer. By his own admission, he's doing this solely for money. His actions are shady.
You're not going to find out who I am.
Okay.
In that case, you're not complying with Article 13.1a. I am also no longer willing to accept that DJ Audits has complied with points C, D and E of Article 13.1a of the GDPR because he gave that information to the other person, but he only did that because the other person seemed friendly to him. That's not compliance. This lady is entitled to the information. If you don't want to give the information, that's understandable, but then you have to change the way you carry out your activities. You can't pick and choose what you comply with for your own personal convenience, or just on the basis of whether you like the cut of somebody's jib, or on the basis that one person is friendly and another is more sceptical towards you. That's not how the adult world works. This bloke is still in his extended childhood where he thinks he should only cooperate with people who are nice to him, and he can go into a sulk with everybody else. He's like an overgrown teenager dressed in green tracky bottoms. Mind you, I do think those tracky bottoms make him look sexy. Big boy, let's see what you got.
I'm here, I'm getting paid to be here, and that's it.
Who have you been paid by?
Have you got
Thank
licence for your drone?
Yes, thank you.
Could you show me the licence?
No.
Why is that? Because your name's on it, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your name?
My name is Joe Tossi.
Okay.
I work here.
Do you know what sort of details the licence will give you?
No idea.
What if it gave you my address?
You can cover the address
No,
with
thank
your
you.
thumb.
DJ Audits doesn't have to give them his details as a drone operator, but my interest here in any case is in data protection. That lady has just taken a photograph of DJ Audits. Obviously data protection applies to the company as much as it does to DJ Audits, so he can exercise certain rights over that still or footage. HBK are registered as data controllers, unlike some people we could mention. DJ Audits could contact them and ask for a copy of the image and ask them to confirm for what purpose they continue to store the image, and he could demand that they erase the image from their records or justify why they should not do so. He has various other rights. In fact, he has the same rights that these individuals do against him, which we will now summarise. I've mentioned the duty to provide information under Article 13.1, which DJ Audit still hasn't fully complied with. The data subjects also have the right to demand that the data is erased, the personal data in this case being their facial images as captured by DJ Audits. They have the right to restrict how DJ Audits processes their data if processing is unlawful or they make a legal claim against him. They have the right not to be subject to automated decision making. So for instance, DJ Audits could not just rely on YouTube's automated face blurring process as a way of complying with his data protection obligations. They have the right to object to the use of their personal data in marketing. They have the right to complain to the Information Commissioner about DJ Audit's use of their personal data. They have the right to object to the processing of their personal data. They also have the right to be notified of certain of these rights. In other words, the rights in Article 13.2 contain a further requirement on the data controller to notify the data subject of his or her rights at the time that the data is obtained. Naturally, this will go hand in hand with the notifications under Article 13.1, which I have mentioned already quite a lot. Now, this all sounds quite extensive and complicated, but in practice it can be dealt with fairly easily and quickly on the spin, as long as a cameraman or photographer or whoever is prepared, assuming he's not exempt of course, which he often will be. DJ Audits is not exempt, but the information needed from him under Article 13.1 is fairly summary. He just has to give his real name and contact details, the name of his channel, and explain it's for YouTube, and if there's an issue, then a quick discussion about that will cover most of the matters in Article 13.2. All of this applies to HBK as well, of course, but to be fair, HBK didn't ask for DJ Audits to turn up, and he knows who they are and can easily contact them. They don't know who he is yet.
I just would like to know.
What are you trying to imply? That I've not got a licence?
No,
or?
I'm just asking if you have a licence.
Look at this, it's pathetic.
What?
I don't really understand what's pathetic about
Okay,
it.
we'll leave it there then.
I don't see what's pathetic about it either.
Okay,
Have a nice day, guys.
Which company are you working for? At least we can take down that name.
No, you can't.
Why can't we take down the name of the company you're working for? Because you've
sound-
just taken photos of our roof.
More to the point, he's filming you, which is why you are absolutely correct that he should be giving you his details. He is required to under Article 13.1a of the UK GDPR.
And we would like to know who you are, who you're working for, and how that video is going to be used. And I don't think that's an unreasonable request, to be entirely honest with you.
I agree 100%. This lady is doing her job. Let's take another look at the relevant points under Article 13.1. You'll see that the questions this lady is asking of DJ Audits are not only perfectly reasonable in the circumstances, he is required to provide this information.
So who are you working for?
I can hear what you're saying.
Okay.
But you're trying to ask me so many personal questions.
They're not personal questions. These are questions that you are required to answer. It's not just personal information. It's information you are required to disclose to a data subject.
Questions. What am I going to do with my video? Who am I going to give it to? Who's paying me? You're not entitled to know all this.
No, I'm absolutely entitled to know it.
Well, okay.
Again, this lady is absolutely 100% correct, and DJ Audits has created this situation. He has got himself into this situation of his own volition. He has to provide the information. If he doesn't, then he's not compliant. Simple as that.
Oh, okay. What are my consequences for not telling you?
Let me answer that. Not telling her puts you in breach of Article 13 of the UK GDPR. We have to add that to that the fact that you are a data controller but you remain unregistered, as that is relevant to the overall picture. You do not benefit from the domestic purposes exemption in Recital 18 of the UK GDPR because you are a monetised YouTube channel. You do not benefit from the special purposes exemption because you're not carrying out journalism or photography in an artistic sense. A breach of Article 13 is not a criminal offence, nor is it a regulatory offence in and of itself. The significance of it is that it will provide a basis, or partly a basis, for two courses of action. First, enforcement action by the Information Commissioner's Office, which could take the form of any one of the following: warnings and reprimands, compliance orders, bans on processing or data transfers, whether permanent or temporary, administrative fines. Second, a civil action against you by one or more individuals for breach of privacy is possible. Also, not being registered as a data controller is a regulatory offence contrary to Regulation 2 of the Data Protection Charges and Information Regulations 2018, for which you can be fined by the Information Commissioner's Office.
I just would like to know why you are flying a drone around our roof. We have people working on our roof.
No,
and
you
we
haven't.
have safety considerations.
There's nobody working on the roof.
Well, there's one ongoing work on the roof.
You've just said there's
Right.
people working on the roof. That's a false statement.
It's not a false statement at all.
There's
We
no
have
one up
people
there.
going up and down the roof.
There's no one up there.
To put panels on.
I really dislike this man's attitude. He's suggesting this lady was lying. That's very offensive. I salute her composure. Not everybody could maintain that composure. She wasn't lying at all. They do have people working on the roof. The situation is that he's on a private road, he's turned up there uninvited, he's refusing to provide the information required of him. I think it's outrageous.
Who are you?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm only here to do some filming from the outside. I've not come on your site.
Right.
If I start coming on your site, then I answer to you. I'm on the pavement.
So I should
I don't
tell
answer to you.
You're on a private road and it's not a highway, so it's not that straightforward.
that we will be reporting this. We'll be having a discussion about whether we'll be reporting this to the police, because this, for us, is not acceptable. Absolutely, we'll be reporting it to our group.
Support all those things. I would also consider making a report to the Information Commissioner and a complaint to YouTube about this man's activities.
Okay?
The only
And
thing
we'll
you need to be
reporting
concerned
to
about
health
is security of your site.
Which is their concern, not yours, and I've seen nothing to suggest that there is anything wrong with security at that site. 4 different people have come out to confront you, and they've all been polite and professional, unlike you.
I'm here to help you with that.
Right.
The fact that this barrier raises... I mean, are you happy then that as soon as I walk up to the barrier, not on your site... Why is it doing it only sometime?
Maybe it doesn't like you.
Don't you understand it?
Really odd, isn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Well, don't you?
All right,
You
so-
seem like you're taking the mick. You don't
So
take it. Look at this.
what
Look.
I
Look at that.
Yes, it's supposed to open. What's the issue? If she's taking the mick out of him, I'm not surprised.
What's causing it? What's causing it? Do you know?
I don't have to tell you how the barriers.
I don't have to tell you either.
Okay. Well,
Let me just get a shot of you two, because you're quite funny.
you can take a picture of me.
Just say your names again for the camera. Sorry,
Okay, so
I didn't hear it.
That's all I've got to give you.
Okay, mate.
lovely. I'll take a picture of you taking a picture of me. I'll get your bike in the background. Perfect.
All right. Have a nice day, guys. Take care. So what do you reckon to that then? Oh dear, they do come out and make fools of themselves, don't they? But yeah, barriers going up and down by themselves. There must be some sort of sensor here. I don't know. I can't work it out. Or, look, once again, look, there. How weird. How weird. They're absolutely pointless, aren't they? Having them there.
A bit like your auditing.